Yu-Gi-Oh tools, do you think the same path that you took to become a content creator caster is available now when it was back a decade ago? If you had the same goals and started today, is there a different way to approach becoming a coach or content creator or caster? Good question.
I do think, it was a lot less crowded back then. I absolutely still think the path is there, without a doubt. I mean, you can look at, you might even argue that it's more so there from the specific path of content creator / streamer, YouTuber, to caster, and even interchangeably vice versa. Because if you look at kind of what's happening in some of the titles that are very well funded right now, just to use Fortnite as an example, right? You have events where Golden Boy and Courage and Lupo all together kind of casting at the Fortnite Cups. And I mean, those, it's 3 content creators that kind of made the transition to caster, or even with the example of Courage, it's kind of it's kind of more like cyclical with Courage, where he was working for MLG, then casting, then content, then more casting, then more content. So I think that loop is even more further enforced because because it was established 10 years ago, you have major studios that are going to be looking at their top creators, and not necessarily even top creators. If you look at a good example of casting that was done, I think, is Overwatch League, there are their superstar casters there. There's the Puckets, right, and there's the Mr. X's that have big followings, but there's a lot of guys from other titles, and the Monte Cristos, but there's other guys from other titles who have lesser followings, but that are really talented analysts and things of that nature that also come from the content creation background. So I think that path will continue to be available. And I think you'd obviously, as a content creator, whether you're streaming or you're creating content on YouTube, I think you want to tailor your content that way. I think my content generally, especially during the end of Reach, and then some stuff for Halo 3, was pretty, it was pretty tactical in nature. It was things like how to break setups or highlighting specific examples, to be honest, not too dissimilar from a lot of the clips that you do and a lot of the content that you create. But I'd say as a content creator, if you do have your eye on casting, I'd say making your content, structuring your content in a way that a game studio can quickly be like, wow, this guy's going to be great on a desk, or this girl's going to be great on a desk, because they're already creating this analytical content, and I want them to bring that to my show. And now you also have, if you look at examples like Respawn's a good example, right? They've got dedicated influencer, granted it's an EA studio, but they've got, dedicated influencer managers that are now at the studio that are looking for these people. So it's no longer this like black box of where these multiplayer people are kind of working with a tournament operator like MLG, and then MLG is, MLG being a TO example, is the exclusive partner looking for talent. Instead, now these studios are going out themselves and they're picking out talent lineups. I got off the phone with someone else who is a head of broadcast at another studio, and now you have casters who are talking directly to someone who has a title head of broadcast for the game studio itself. So I guess what I'm getting at is there are now more eyes on finding those creators than there even were. So it's a more crowded space, but at the same time, there are more game developers very intentionally looking for the right folks. So I think the path is absolutely available. Yeah.